now about to be joined by NFC's newest Bantamweight Muay Thai champion, a man who put on a hell of a performance this past weekend, a man who I like to call the praying mantis. I know he probably has, he hasn't come along with that nickname just yet, but with the length of that man's legs, okay, with the length of that man's legs and arms and the way that he be throwing them out there, you can't tell me he's not a praying mantis. You know what I'm saying? I'm a pay him respect. If you don't like that, he likes to go by Pretty Tone, the Georgia State University student, a journalism major, somebody who runs his own podcast. Hear me roar. Rawr. Shout out to my man, Tony Hope, NFC's 135-pound, newest 135-pound champion, Tony Hope. Tony.
Yo, what's up?
What's happening, bro?
Not much, man. Having a great night tonight. I had a great day. What about you?
Man, I'm maintaining. Had a great day, man. A lot's been going on around your neck. First of all, I love the way you put NFC Bantamweight Muay Thai champion.
Oh yeah, making letting everybody know, because that's what I am. Like it or not.
Like it or not. Had a great day, man. I've really been looking forward to today's podcast.
Me too.
Because look, NFC 153 was an amazing show. I had my man Jesse Wable on earlier. We talked about our fight of the night. It was unanimous. The fight that you put on against Seth Haas was the fight of the night. It was the most entertaining fight of the night. Yesterday, Sunday, a post came out on Facebook, and it added a lot of more intrigue to how this fight all came about. Before we get to the drama of it all, how would you describe your performance?
Number one, NFC 153 period was a great show. The Battery had a lot of great fans. That was easily, I've been a part of 3 NFC events now, one in last May, one on my birthday in October, and this past one. And by far, each one has gotten better and better, and this one was the absolute best. I also thought that was my best performance as a fighter. Seth going into this fight, I know Seth was a very tough opponent. He's fought for the belt before, I believe, twice before. He's fought other killers like Cameron. That was a fight that I remember watching, and I would go back and rewatch. And just for my performance personally, I think that every facet of Muay Thai I had down pat. I was using elbows, I was using knees, kicks, punches. And that was just a result of watching fighters and training hard and just staying relaxed in the cage. So I believe that, that was easily my best performance.
Tony Hope, that was your best performance, in my humble opinion. I watched all 3 of your NFC fights at the Pink Pony, at the District, and now live at the Battery. Tony Hope, you impressed the hell out of me, bro. You looked amazing, bro. Your teeth kips up the middle. Seth Haas, no bones about it. I've said it here before, and I will say it again. Seth Haas is one of my most entertaining fighters to watch in the NFC. That dude is a dog. Them hooks that he be throwing, but you nullified that with the teep kicks up the middle, with those elbows, man. Like, bro, like, it was a beautiful striking performance. And it was, from my perspective, right? When that fight started, you watch UFC, right?
Yep, of course.
You ever watch the UFC main event against like 2 killers, and it's like, you get that anxiety feeling?
Yep, you already know.
I had that feeling before your fight, bro. And like, I don't have that all the time, but like, I knew that like this was a big fight. Again, from my perspective, you took the first 2 rounds. Third round, I feel like you took the first half of the third round. The second half, I feel like he took the second half of the third round. So it was up for the judges to debate. The 4th round, I had Seth. I thought he had a great 4th round. The 5th round, you ended up, you left no questions answered. How would you kind of score the fight when you were going through it?
I rewatched the fight maybe like 3-4 times now, where I was just showing it to my friends or family. And I'd say rounds 1, 2, and 3, I have that for me, clean slate. The 4th round, that's when I would, even like if I was just a spectator, if I was just watching that as a fight fan, I would have given it to Seth. Like, Seth definitely, he put the pressure on. He started going to the body more, and he started pushing me backwards. And I think in that round, I was thinking too hard on what I wanted to throw, especially in the later half of it. In the beginning of the 4th round, I felt very poised. I felt like, okay, I'm still winning this fight. In the last half of that 4th round, I believe that he took it away. And I just kind of resorted back to my thinking of in camp where we're like, okay, Seth is really good. You're not going to be able to just BS around, or you're not going to be able to take your foot off the gas. I took my foot off the gas in the 4th round and I paid for it. I lost that round in my opinion. But I think I brought it back in the 5th round, especially in the last minute, like maybe the last 40 seconds straight was just knees in the clinch. And I was pushing myself through that. It was hard because I was ready to just, ready for this fight to be over with. The first time I ever fought to 5 rounds. That was the hardest I've pushed myself. But if I were to tally it all up, I would give myself rounds 1 through 3 and 5.
For sure. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Hope, NFC's Bantamweight Muay Thai champion, joining me here on NFC Now, show number 24. Tony, that 5th round, you left no questions answered. You had him in the clinch, and I love the way that you described the technique that you used in the post-fight interview with Kimberly, and how you locked his arm and has something that you trained and that you landed those knees. Could you speak more about that technique in general?
Yeah, so I come from a very, like, my gym is probably the most authentic Muay Thai gym in Atlanta, at least. We train like this is what they train in Thailand. So I feel so comfortable in the clinch because my coach Kumpan and everyone that he brings in, other coaches and other teammates, like all we do is work clinch in especially in fight camp. So when we were backstage, we were talking about how, okay, when you get in the clinch, we know that you like to go for the plum, get both hands on the back of their head and just throw knees from there. So the most dominant position you can be in the clinch. But there's also other ways that you can enforce your will, throw offense, and subdue your opponent. And one of those was clamping down on his arm to where he can't escape. You can't throw hooks from that position. You can't throw any type of body shots. You can't slip in an uppercut. And then wrap your other arm around the back of his neck to where it's hard for him to breathe. So we were practicing that, and quite literally in backstage, it took me a lot of attempts to like get it right. Like, what am I supposed to do? And when my teammate TJ, I think everybody knows him here, TJ Holt, he kind of just broke it down to me even simpler. It's like, you're thinking too hard about it. You used to wrestle. It's just like that. Clamp down on the arm, wrap the other arm around his head, and you got him in control. And just keep him there, squeeze. And that's what we did. It was a very useful technique, and it's something that I'm going to continue to work on so it's even easier and more effective in future fights.
It was a technique that put that stamped your mark on you being the NFC Muay Thai champion. There was no questions after that 5th round. Again, in my humble estimation, that 3rd round was up in the air because I believe Seth landed like a nasty body shot that kind of like had everybody it made everybody like, whoa, okay, Seth is still here. And, being that he lost those first 2 rounds so definitively, being that he fought back, again, just optics. When you watch a fight, just the optics of a fight. You getting beat up the first 2 rounds. You even show a little bit of life in that 3rd round. People want to just be like, oh, okay. And
okay, he has it. Yep.
That 4th round was clear for him. But that 5th round, the way that you ended in that position, you put your stamp on the fight. You got the belt wrapped around you.
Yeah. See, that's one of those things too. Like it's as a fight fan, and I like to call myself an analyst as well. Like since I watch UFC all the time, so I knew in my head in between rounds, okay, optics are real. Like you said, just you won the first 2 rounds so definitively that even any sort of counter on his behalf in the later rounds can sway the judge's opinion. It can sway the crowd. When the crowd starts to roar and erupt, that can sway the decision. That's why that's why in my corner, and that's why in my head, I'm always like, okay, stay on the gas, don't relax. Because it just as easy as you can win rounds, you can lose them. So for sure. I agree with you on that.
For sure. You get the victory, the belt gets wrapped around you. In the post-fight with Kimberly, I'm sitting back there and I'm watching it, and you immediately mention a rematch. And in my head, I'm like, I don't see the reason for the rematch because it was clear. It was clear who won that fight. There was no debates.
Yeah.
There was a rematch mentioned. And Why was the rematch even a thing that you mentioned?
So I mentioned the rematch because me and Seth, and with David present, or Mr. Oblas present, agreed that if I were to win the belt, I would rematch him immediately. And the reason for that is because I messed up and I missed weight on the weigh-ins on Thursday. And so I weighed in at 137.6 pounds, and that was my final weight before like the cutoff. 3:00 was the cutoff time. So I didn't have any more time to attempt to burn those last 0.6 pounds. And so me and Seth or rather after that weight came in and it was finalized, me and me and Mr. Oblas were talking, and we said, what can we do to keep this fight on? What can we do to where the belt is still on the table? What can we do to where there isn't no real changes to the event that's going to take place the next day? With Seth in front of me, we talked about it. Mr. Oblas brought up the idea of if I were to win the belt, I would immediately rematch him. I immediately agreed. I said, yes, let's do it. It doesn't matter to me. Seth also agreed. We shook hands. And, that's why I mentioned a rematch in my post-fight interview, because I'm a man of my word. I messed up. I take accountability and responsibility, and that's how we're going to proceed. And Seth also was game. He wasn't backing down. He didn't want to take an easy way out. He didn't want to have this fight go any other way. And I respect him for that. He had my respect going into that fight. He had my respect leaving that fight. He had my respect in the cage, and he still has my respect to this now. So within a couple of months, when we're both fully healthy, we're going to rematch again, and it's going to be just as fun, if not better.
Is it true that you were willing to walk away from this fight if it was not for the title?
So what I'm going to say is that, number one, all right, let me just want to say this. Number one, the people who are commenting on this fight and are commenting on the lead up to it were not present for the weigh-ins. The only people that were here for the weigh-ins was myself, Seth, somebody with Seth. It was another guy, looks like he was about our age, and Mr. Oblas. No one else was there. Not his coach, not anyone else part of his team. What I said to Mr. David was, I really want to fight for this belt. I've been training for the last 6 weeks to win this belt. Is there any way we can keep this belt on the table? Because I would like to fight for the belt. I don't want to fight and just have it be, if he wins, he gets the belt. If I win, it's still a vacant title. I didn't force my way into, I didn't force anything. I didn't demand anything. I didn't pout about anything. I did not make any sort of like, I didn't try to hold any leverage on anyone. That's not the type of person I am. I accepted my responsibility, but and that's just how we came to this conclusion. Like, we negotiated this out. There wasn't any type of attitude from me. There wasn't any type of demands. So for those who are trying to say that I was acting like I've heard people call me a brat or I had a bad attitude, which is ridiculous. Because like I said, the same people talking on Facebook weren't present for the event. The same people who were talking on Facebook didn't even show any type of sportsmanship after I won. They didn't shake my hand. They didn't say, they weren't even in the cage when they were announcing the decision. So it's just funny. I hear a lot of people talking about stuff that they weren't present for. But
so to be clear, you did not say that you were going to walk unless that fight was for the belt.
No, sir. I said I would like to stay. I would like to keep fighting. I don't want to waste, because I trained for this fight too. I still trained about 6 weeks for this fight. Seth trained for this fight as well. This fight was a very highly anticipated fight. I had people who bought tickets. I want this fight. So I was talking to Mr. David about, I talked to my coach and I talked to David about how can we keep this fight for the belt like it was supposed to be in the first place. I know I messed up. I take responsibility, so I'm willing to accept whatever consequences, or I'm willing to accept whatever what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever we have to do to circumvent the initial proposal, which was, y'all can still fight, but if I win, I don't get the belt. I didn't threaten anyone. I didn't threaten leave. I didn't say I'm gonna walk if we don't get the belt. I didn't say that.
Why did you miss weight?
Truthfully, I believe I was doing some more research. And mind you, this is my first, or this is still, I'm still new to the fight game. I don't really have any, I don't have like no dietitian or nutritionist or anything like that, that I am close to that can help me, guide me. So I believe that I wasn't hydrated enough. I was eating very well, and that's why I was still just 0.6 over rather than a pound or 2 or 3. I believe I wasn't hydrated enough, and I didn't have enough time to burn that last 0.6 pounds off. Just been a busy. This has been the busiest fight camp of my life with school, work. I work a late night job on certain days. I still have to go to school and take tests. It was midterms the day of weigh-ins, and it was just a learning lesson in general. Like as far as how to cut weight properly, how to communicate with my team and with the NFC on my weight cutting journey, as far as other things. So I believe this was definitely a valuable lesson because I want to continue to fight, and I don't pride myself on missing weight. I was very disappointed in myself, and I let my teammates, my coach, my parents. I apologize to Mr. Oblas. I apologize to the commissioner. I apologize to Seth because it is a bad look, and I don't want that to ever happen again, and it won't happen again.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Hope, NFC's Bantamweight Muay Thai champion, on the show right now, joining me on NFC Now, show number 24. Tony, according to my sources, you were given another hour in order to make the weight. You went on a run. You got a gym membership or paid to go try to get some of the weight off. Could you elaborate on that side?
Yeah, so like I said, it was on a Thursday, so that's still a school day for me. I had a midterm exam. I had another midterm exam. I had 2 tests. The weigh-ins were at 1:00, and you have from 1 till 3. I didn't make it until 2:00 due to my test. I weighed in around 138ish, I believe. Went on a run. Came back, weighed in, still didn't make it. So I did a guest pass for the gym that's at the Battery, like Pepper Boxing. And I went in there, and that's where I burned as many calories, sweated out as much as I could before I had to, I got called, hey, come on back for the final weigh-in, which was at around 250. So I made every attempt possible during the day of to cut off any remaining weight that I had. Unfortunately, like I said, just due to testing, I didn't communicate clearly enough with my coaches and with the NFC as far as like my school schedule with the weigh-in day. That's my fault, and I know how to approach that differently in the future. But yes, it's not wrong. You're not wrong about what you said. I did have an hour to cut another pound and 0.2 or a pound and a half, something like that. I managed to cut a pound. I was still about 0.6 off.
Indeed. You weighed in 137.6 for a 135 plus 2 fight in order to get the NFC Bantamweight Muay Thai champion. You made a deal with Seth Haas in order to keep that fight on for the belt. David Oblas agreed. Seth Haas agreed. That fight still took place. You are now the NFC Muay Thai champion. Now, we've talked about weigh-ins. We have to address what happened for the promo video that was supposed to happen at the Battery. It was stated that it was a no call, no show. I was there waiting on you. Jenna Lee was there waiting on you. David was there waiting on you. What happened?
Once again, like this was just a very busy fight camp, just with school and work and everything. And I'm not making excuses. Like I said, I take full responsibility for that. And I mean, it's just another mistake. I don't want it to seem as if that I'm some person that doesn't like to obey the rules or doesn't like to be a man of his word. That's not the case. It's just that for this fight camp, there's a lot of things that I didn't hold myself as accountable to as I should have. For example, like the promo video. That was something that I was very excited to do. But as you said, I didn't show up. I didn't make it known that I was going to be late or I wasn't going to be able to come in. And so it was just another thing that it stuck with me during fight camp. Like I'm 20 years old. I'm trying to balance working, with fighting, with school, with extracurricular activities as well, as far as like recording my own podcast and attending stuff after school. And, I'm still just trying. This is just all a journey for me, trying to balance everything on this plate of mine at 20 years old. So, but for the next one, I'm sure there's going to be another promo. Just like I know there's going to be another weigh-in, and everything is going to go just as planned. I'm going to make sure that I hold myself accountable. There will be no excuses. There will be no mistakes.
I'm an independent contractor. I know I'm on NFC now, right? At this moment, I'm an independent contractor. I cannot speak exactly for the NFC, but if I was to think, and I'm sure you could put yourself in the shoes of the NFC, man, for somebody who no call, no show a promo video, something that was set for us to put, and again, they allot money in order for this fight to be promoted, and then for you to come in overweight. I'm sure that doesn't make any allies for you in the NFC. Could you understand that?
Yes, I do. And like I said, I understand that, and I accept full responsibility and accountability. Like, I'm not the one that makes that tries to duck these. I don't mind taking responsibility for things that are, number one, accurate, and things that I did wrong. I did not go to the NFC promo. I've overslept. I did not do what I was supposed to do. I did not stick to what I was called on to do. That was my fault. Just like how I was supposed to make weight, I did not make weight. That is my fault, my responsibility. I accept that. This is not. I don't try to make excuses for those things. What I try to do is just see how can I make up for it? How can I make sure this doesn't happen again?
Respect. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Hope, NFC's Bantamweight Muay Thai champion, joining me here on NFC Now, show number 24. Tony, I want to be very clear, man. I'm a fan of yours, man. I'm a fan of yours. The way you fought your ass off. I love the way in which that you represent Atlanta every time you step into the cage. I absolutely love the way that you are the Georgia State University journalism student. I love that you are consistently putting out your work on a week-to-week basis. I understand that you're 20 years old, so I understand I understand where you are with it, man. And you are an amateur. You're not a professional. And I want to see you win. And I don't want to see everybody on your back. It's important for me as a journalist to ask you these questions.
Yes, sir.
So that we're all on the same page and that everybody in the NFC community can get clarity on your side of what you said. I respect the way that you are you are taking full accountability for it. Now, yesterday on the NFC community group, there was a post posted by Carissa Timbs-Usher, in which she and I don't even I'm gonna allow and I'm gonna put up the post right now so
okay.
Everybody could see. Give me 1 second. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is NFC Now. If you have any comments, please go ahead and drop it in our comment section. Let us know exactly how you feel, what you're thinking about the NFC's Bantamweight champion being on here at the moment. Just give me 1 second. I am about to figure this thing out. No, I want to make sure I pull it up because I don't want to misread her words, and I would like everybody else to pull it up there. I apologize for let's see, entire screen. I'll go ahead and share my entire screen so everybody can see it. Maybe this will work. Can y'all see it? Let's see. Maybe not. Well, no. All right, so I'll just go ahead and read it. How about that? Is that cool?
Yep.
And so you can respond to it because this is something that definitely gained a lot of traction on the internet yesterday. Carissa Timbs-Usher says, congratulations to Tony Hope on his win last night. It was a solid fight, and I have no problem saying he was the better fighter. However, he shouldn't be champion. As I understand it, Tony missed weight, and then he told Oblas and his opponent that he, all caps, refused to fight unless it was still for the title. Of course, Seth agreed to let him have it. What fighter who's gone through an entire fight camp, cut the weight, then made weight is going to say no in that situation? Would him making weight would have made a difference in the fight? Probably not. Other than it meant he actually followed the rules, but instead he chose to throw a fit over an issue he caused and received zero consequences. I can name several fighters who fought and won titles but didn't get the belt because they didn't make weight. None of them were given the option to still getting to fight for the title. In my humble opinion, Tony should have been told that if he backed out for those reasons, he would never get to fight in the NFC again. Instead, he learned that the rules don't apply to him. Does this mean in future title fight contenders won't have to make weight. Your response to Carissa Timbs-Usher's is?
Number one, like I said, she was not present at the weigh-in. So she is going off of whoever is saying, whoever she's going off of hearsay.
Yes.
I don't respect when people make these bold claims and we're not present for events. Instead of asking, instead of reaching out, instead of asking questions for people who are there. The only people who were there was me, Seth, and Mr. Oblas. Instead of asking, she makes this comment that I threw a fit, or I was making demands, and I refuse in all caps, like you said, to do this and that, which is not true. Mr. Oblas is the one who presented the idea of you can still fight for the belt. I didn't make this. I didn't come up with this. I didn't negotiate this or anything. You can still fight for the belt, but if you win, you will have to immediately rematch Seth Haas. Seth agreed. He's 23 years old. He's not 17. He's not 16. He's not someone who cannot make decisions on his own. I'm 20. I'm someone who is not 16, not 17. I'm someone who can make these decisions on their own or on my own. We agreed. We shook hands in front of him, looked each other in the eye with all respect. I have nothing but respect for Seth. That's why I did not want to waste his time, waste my time, waste David's time as far as pulling out of the fight. That was not a threat that I made. That was not some claim. That is a crazy claim to say that I threw a fit in order for the rules to be bended and twisted for me. I saw other people in the comments talk about Charles Oliveira and all these professional fighters in the biggest fight promotion in the world. I am an advanced amateur Muay Thai fighter who is 20 years old, doing this for a hobby, doing this as an extracurricular activity, as to further his status as a journalist. So it didn't upset me, because the fact of the matter is that I'm still the NFC Bantamweight Muay Thai champion. It bothers me that someone will make claims on something that they were not present for.
Indeed.
So like I said, I have nothing but respect for Seth. I said it going into the fight. I said it at weigh-ins. I said it during the fight, after the fight. I can't wait to fight him again, because that was the most entertaining fight I've ever had. It was the most fun I've had in my life. But I just don't appreciate her and whoever else were in the comments making these bold claims and weren't present, and they didn't talk to someone who was actually there. And at the same and also, no one on Seth's team showed any sort of post-fight sportsmanship or respect. That is a fact. That's not hearsay. That is something that actually happened. So it just feels like a culmination of like, okay, dang, we lost. Let's try to spin this into the best PR that we can. Let's try to make whoever won look as bad as possible.
So that was a question that I had as well. I was wondering if this story would have came out had Seth won.
No,
right?
I don't believe so.
Indeed. And I can't speak on it. I just wanted you to have the opportunity to speak on your side, because if we were going based on that post, it would have been something different. David Oblas is unfortunately unavailable to give his side of what happened. We look forward to having David on so he can tell us about his side of what happened. I could tell you just from the conversations that I had with David, his job is to make sure that the fights happen. And he did what was in the best interest of making these fights happen. Now, I do understand the argument in which that, hey, if he bends the rules for you, he might have to bend the rules for everybody else. And this may have set a precedent. I have to ask you, if once you and Seth rematch, will you make weight?
Of course. I said I don't make the same mistake twice. I don't make the same decision twice, especially if it results in something that is that isn't for the better good. I miss weight. That is a fact. That's not something that I showed up to do. I didn't show up to this fight knowing like, oh, I'm still going to be able to get this title shot if I don't make weight. I don't want to take this seriously. It was a mistake. I slipped up, and it was my fault. No one else's fault but mine. And I understand that what David did is not the norm. It's not the norm, nor should it be, nor Will it happen again? As far as I'm concerned, I won't miss weight again. And that's why I was so right after the fight, I thanked Seth, because I know that I wouldn't say lucky, but that this isn't the norm. I thanked Seth. I was like, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. We're going to run it back. You can read my lips on the telecast. Get well, get healthy, so we can run it back. I'm excited. So this won't happen again. So everybody can shut up about it. Like,
all the
in the
information
future
was out there.
Say again.
Again, from just, I didn't have all information, right? But I'm sitting there watching everything go down, and I'm like, okay, I'm curious on why he's saying we're going to do the rematch, because at the end of the fight, it was very clear on who won the fight, and my humble estimation, the rematch that he had. But you even mentioned the rematch, my ears poke up a little bit. But now getting the full story, now we understand why a rematch needs to be had. You're saying that you agree to the rematch. You're saying that you will make weight for the next rematch. You have also said, correct me if I'm wrong, that you and Seth had a gentleman's agreement. David Oblas was present for that gentleman's agreement. You were not refusing to fight for that, not refusing to fight if it wasn't for the title. And you've taken full accountability for 1, missing weight, and 2, missing the promo. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. This is not something that was not context, but your vernacular can definitely sway people's opinions on something. You know this as a journalist. I know this as a journalist. People know this. The context of certain words can charge a statement. And in her statement on Facebook, with these certain words that are in caps, refusal and throwing fits and brat and all these other terms, that makes it seem like I was ready to throw this whole show. I was ready to crash out if I didn't get the championship. I was ready to throw a tantrum. That's what it was. No, this was something where it's like, yo, how can we keep this fight on? I want to fight. This is a waste of time if we don't do this fight, period. How can we still do this fight for what was on the line initially? I know I messed up. I know that this is something that is on me, but guarantee this will not happen again. As simple as that.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Hope, NFC's newest Bantamweight Muay Thai champion, joining me. Now, getting your hand raised, bro. You won a big fight. What was the celebration afterwards?
Celebration afterwards, look, chopped it up with my family, chopped it up with my teammates and my friends. A lot of DMs on Instagram, a lot of texts. And then me and my mom and my friend, we went to Mama's Cocina all the way up in Buckhead, got us some 2 a.m. tacos. Because, oh, Lord. Like I said, I missed weight, but it wasn't because I was undisciplined. Like, I was talking about no salt, no sugar, low carbs. So as soon as I won that fight, I just pigged out. I'm talking about, we had some breakfast burritos. I ate my honey buns when I got home. Just pigged out. That was my celebration. I'm not too big on going to party or do anything like that.
And look, I'm just looking at your frame too. It didn't look like you had much more weight to be cut, bro.
Like I said, that's what disappointed me, because I was that close. That was just another 30 minutes of sweating. But like I said, I don't believe I hydrated enough to where that could have been sweated off a little bit more efficiently. So now I know going next time I need to drink way more water a couple of days before it's time to, really cut. But like you said, you saw my frame, the pictures at the weigh-in. It's not like I came in at 140. Even 0.6 is too much, but it wasn't like I was undisciplined with it. So that's why after the fight, I decided to just let loose. I won. Let me eat what I want now. It's fine.
For sure. How'd you score on your midterms?
Did pretty good. I got an 82 on one of the tests, which was in my harder class, and then I got a 95 on the other. So, I'm out here working. I'm recording the episode tomorrow where I'm gonna talk about the fight. I'm gonna talk about my fight. I'm gonna talk about the UFC, and obviously with my fight, I'm gonna address the weight cut issue, the promo, me versus Seth part 2 again, as well as UFC and the NFL free agency. I'm gonna get you on there eventually. That's my next thing, is like how to get guests into, or how to work guest on, like how you bring me onto the show every time, or how to bring other folks on when it's starting to become into their specialty.
Take your time with it, man, because I see you growing just being an individual, because I'm sure you're learning that it's tough to just sit here and just talk into a mic without having nobody else to talk to.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I see the growth, bro. I really see the growth. I love the way that you promote your own stuff too, man. Continue to do that because there's other people out there that are looking at you that's like, yo, I respect what you got going on.
Thank you.
So like, again, like respect. Tony, I wanna root for you, bro. Like I see a lot of me in you, bro. Just off GP. We go to the same school. We both light skinned. You know what I'm saying? You fight, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I respect it. And I have to, in my position, I have to hold you accountable because I want the best for you.
Yes,
Not only just in my position, just as just man to man. I want to see better from you, man. And you know that whole NFC, they want to see you continue to just win, not only just in the cage but outside of it, bro. Disappointed. I can't act like I'm not disappointed that you didn't show up to the promo. I get it. You know, I understand. You know what? I'm not here to beat a dead horse. Stuff happens, man. Jesse Wable was on the show earlier. He was just like, look, I would love to see Tony Hope be more of a professional, but we have to understand that you're an amateur. You're 20, you're in college, bro. Just as you continue to go forward, man, we want to see you just do better, bro. Because obviously the talent is there. What you showed us in that cage on Friday night is evident, bro.
Yes,
you beat a tough ass fighter in Seth Haas. Seth Haas is no joke. Seth Haas is one of my favorite fighters because of what he does inside that cage. And again, I got to give Seth Haas the most credit in the main event. He was still in his man's corner, holding that man's banner with a bloody nose, wiping it. And like, I respect that. And what you did to him, it goes to show what kind of a martial artist you are. It goes to show who you're training with. And like, yo, we just look forward to your growth as a man and as a fighter, bro. It's all love. Before we part ways, what's your final thoughts, Tony? What do you want to leave me and the entire NFC community with?
Number one, I appreciate you. And like I said, I am all for it. I appreciate you holding me accountable. Like I said, I'm still a young man. I'm 20 years old. I look at you and others as elders. Even you don't have to be 20 years older than me. I look at you and all those who rightfully hold me accountable. Hold me accountable without bashing my name. Hold me accountable without creating accusations that aren't true. I appreciate that. I hold myself accountable, and I promise that in the future, because I want to keep fighting for NFC. There's a whole bunch of people that I've met in this organization that look forward to watching me fight. A whole lot of professional people that I enjoy talking to. In the future, I will make sure that I hold myself more professional, because even though I'm an amateur, you never know how far something can take you. And I don't want to build a reputation for being someone who is tardy or does no show or doesn't hold himself accountable, doesn't take care of his business. So thank you for having me on. Thank you for giving me opportunity to speak, giving me opportunity to air what truly happened. I look forward to being on this show again in the future, whether it's before or after me and Seth's rematch. And for all of the fans out there, all of the viewers, all the listeners right now, I apologize for how I handled myself in the build up to this fight. I know that as a fighter, I owe it to y'all to do what I'm supposed to. I'm in this position for a reason. Do what you're supposed to do, especially in the biggest fight of my life. And I promise that in the future, this won't happen again. And for all of those who support me, I appreciate it as well. For all those who don't like me, I hope that I can get y'all around onto the bandwagon eventually, because I'm going to keep on winning. I'm going to keep on getting better. And eventually you're going to have to come around to it. So thank you again, Julien, bro. I really appreciate it, man.
Yo, it's all love. Tony Hope, NFC's Bantamweight Muay Thai champion, joining me here on NFC Now, show number 23. Tony, keep doing your thing. Keep modeling. Keep fighting. Keep recording your pods. And we look forward to seeing you rematch Seth Haas when everybody gets healthy. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Tony Hope. Thank you for your time, bro.
All right. Thank you, homie.